Flora, welcome back to my channel. Seungmin is back with Still Here from SKZ SKZ-RECORD, and I believe that Seungmin wrote this from what I saw in the comments, and I'm really excited to see what this is all about. So let's go ahead, without further ado, get started. Ooh, pretty. The piano. Very nice.
여전히 멈춰있다. 정처 없이 걷다 보면 괜찮아질 줄 알았어. 제자리 걸음만 반복해 너의 흔적들 그 속에 갇혀 한 걸음도 벗어나지 못하고 다시 너에게 돌아가. 그때 그대로.
Oh, that was so nice.
널 떠나보낸 그 이후로 만날 수 없어. 수없이 많은 길을 헤매이다 난 모든 걸 잃어. 그때 그대로 여전히 멈춰있다. 정처 없이 걷다 보면 괜찮아질 줄 알았어. 제자리 걸음만 반복해 너의 흔적들 그 속에 갇혀 한 걸음도 벗어나지 못하고 다시 너에게 돌아가.
Excuse me.
그때 그대로 떠나간 그곳에 멈춰있어.
Oh.
수없이 제자리 걸음만 제자리 걸음만 그때 그대로.
Wow, too short. That was so nice. It was a great way to hear Seungmin's voice. I think something that's really incredibly special about when they do solos like this, the members know each other so well that they're able to cater to what is the best part of them, right? So when, Seungmin, produces something and writes something for another member, here in this case, Seungmin, like, he knows exactly what his voice needs in order to sound like its best. And so that's something that's really nice about basically all of the members being involved in the songwriting process and having that ability to do that. And here you really get to hear just how incredibly, like, interesting Seungmin's voice is. I think a lot of people just assume about Seungmin's voice, this is just my opinion from what I've seen, is because he's not a high tenor, so he's someone, he can do high notes, but he doesn't do it like in comparison to other idols. I would say he's not the highest tenor of them all. So we're not used to the high power vocal from him. He can do high notes, that's not an issue, but usually his stronger point is in the lower part of his voice, which I thought was shown so well here. And really, we got to see both aspects. We got to see his chest voice really beautifully in that first verse was just so wow. The way that we got to see that. in comparison to his head voice. And he, like I said, I don't feel like he does have a big range. It's just different because it's slightly lower than a lot of like what we think normally of like a range is. So I really enjoyed hearing this because we got to hear so much of his chest voice, like I said, especially with that first verse. And I thought it was so important having the introduction with just the piano and then hearing his chest voice in that first verse. Super interesting. And then going into the pre-chorus, that's when he switched into his head voice. And the lyrics were so interesting during that part. During the chorus, I wrote down, going in circles over and over, trapped inside the traces of you. Like, wow, that's just like such an interesting line and lyric. And this song was full of interesting lines and lyrics like that. Really made you feel like it was consistently just staying. And I think the instrumental did that as well. Felt like you're just stuck here, like you're in this constant motion. I think the piano and the guitar especially did that because of the repetitive notes that were going on in there. And then the transition out of that chorus picked up instrumentally from there, adding the acoustic guitar, adding the electric guitar, adding more piano than what had happened in that first verse and chorus. So I think with that transition going into that second verse, that instrumental stayed. You got to feel more of the intensity. And then at first I thought that was the pre-chorus. Yeah, it was. I thought I'd get over it if I just keep walking. Ooh, what a line there. But then we hit what I thought was going to be the chorus, but it's actually more like a bridge / ending tag, because this didn't follow, I would say, like a normal form with the woes. And that's where I felt like, besides the chest voice that we'd heard from Seungmin, this is where we really got to see his voice shine. We really got to hear that fullness of his voice and what he was doing with the woes. And one of the lines that stuck out to me is, I'm still here going in circles where you left me. Wow. Really, really intense lyricism here. And just the way that Seungmin sings this is just so beautiful. And like I said, I think it just shows off the talents of his voice. It like in the right register for him. It's so perfect for like where his voice range sits, and you get the highs and lows of his voice in the right part. So that's why I think it's so beautiful when, you know, members write for each other, because then when you're around someone all the time, you know what their strengths and weaknesses are, and you know how to play their strengths up and, you know, take their weaknesses down. And I think that that's what happened here, and it was created a really, really beautiful song. So I really enjoyed this. Tell me what you guys thought. Did you love it? Did you hate it? What was your favorite part in this song? Mine was definitely that whoa part and the second verse, the first verse where we just heard his low notes. It was just so nice to hear that side of him. So tell me your thoughts down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks so much for watching. Bye bye.